Now, from fishing boats to kayaks. Most people take up kayaking as a way to escape, bask in nature, and relax. But just going with the flow was not an option for the guys who had this intense and unusual aquatic encounter. June 29th, 2017, on Yale Lake in southwest Washington. Two men take their kayaks out for a relaxing afternoon when the calm waters are suddenly disturbed.
Weird.
The video seems to show bubbles rising to the surface of the water in the center of the lake as the kayakers paddle towards them.
Just bubbles coming from the bottom of the lake. No current. I'm afraid to put my hand in the water.
One kayaker dips his camera below the waterline, and we see debris and thousands of bubbles swirling.
Weird though, dude.
The bubbling is so intense, the other kayaker panics and paddles off.
Go, go, go.
Then an ominous burst of murky brown water erupts as hundreds of leaves are belched up to the surface.
What the What the just happened? Something just happened that we caught on camera. Dude, it stinks.
Field researcher and author Ken Gerhard tries to help us understand what we're seeing in the video.
My first thoughts are, is there something alive beneath the water that's creating these bubbles and this disturbance in the water? Yale Lake is connected to the Columbia River, which has been said to be home to this massive creature called colossal clod. Sightings date back to the early 1930s. The general physical description is a huge animal, about 40 feet long, with a serpentine, although a very thick, powerful body, and what was described as a very evil, snaky head. Many of the lakes around the world where these monsters have been reported all boast healthy populations of salmon and trout. So perhaps these lake monsters might also live in the ocean and follow the salmon populations into fresh water to feed.
There are dozens, maybe thousands of undiscovered creatures inhabiting the world's lakes. Recently, researchers uncovered around 40 new species in Lake Imweru, located between Zambia and the Democratic Republic of Congo. But was whatever these kayakers saw a creature from the deep? Let's see what's swimming in our experts' thought bubbles. Marine biologist Dr. Shay Conger begins her analysis by addressing the lake monster theory.
The number of salmon in the Columbia River has dramatically decreased. And this is an important resource not only for humans, but for wildlife. So if there was some sort of abnormally large animal in Yale Lake, it probably wouldn't have a lot of food to live off of. And so it's pretty unlikely that there are undiscovered large animals in Yale Lake. There are actually a couple of freshwater seal populations in the world. But if this were something like a seal or a whale, we would definitely see the animal itself. And seals really only hold their breath for maybe 20 minutes at a time.
What about those bubbles? Geologist Bob Anderson helps us figure out what could be happening here.
Natural gas and oil are formed between sedimentary layers. And you get a lot of carboniferous materials that are from the time before the dinosaurs. And these areas get buried deep down. And that pressure and heat causes those organic materials to break down into hydrocarbons. And all it takes is a crack in the rock, and they just release and they pop real fast.
The Carboniferous period occurred 300 million years ago. So these organic materials have been building pressure for quite some time, just waiting to blow.
When you look at the video and you add in the combination of those bubbles and the smell at the end.
Dude, it stinks.
To me, it's a dead clue that it's some type of a natural gas that's coming up.
This happens all over the world. Massive underwater craters have been discovered off the coast of Norway, up to 147 feet deep and 2,624 feet wide. Researchers have deemed them the cause of expulsions of gas rising to the surface in the area. Our verdict? Natural gas. The smell was the clincher. The kayaker complained about the horrible aroma, which is a common attribute of methane gas when it mixes with hydrogen sulfide, causing a rotten egg odor. While the men didn't come across Colossal Claude, they did still stumble upon a remarkable piece of natural history.